the villain really is villainous. He is simultaneously haunted by and is a massive helmet. Hello, my name's Gavin, this is Genre Books, and this is week 19 of the Read What You Own challenge, the challenge to read 100 books from these shelves before I buy any new ones. We're progressing. Not as quick as I would like, but we're getting there. I'll try to keep it brief this week so I can fit in some more reading time. The first book I read was Terror on the Burren by, help me here, Ray O'Lawless. No idea if that's right. This is part of the Keltothon, the reading event organised by Nicole's Bookish Nook. Decided to take part. Tomorrow is St. Patrick's Day. I have read something Irish, and this is in translation because the original is in the Irish language, which I can't read, as you can tell from my butchering of the author's name. This is a story of history, of myth, of family and tribal bonds, and of terror. It is set, I'm going to say, sort of on the cusp of the Bronze and Iron Ages. It deals with a family from Scandinavia who have made their way by boat at some cost to Ireland and to the Burren area. This really didn't go the way I expected it to. I have 2 other books by him, which I will try to get read this month as part of my remaining 100 books. The second thing I read this week was from this collection. This is 3 Gothic novels, of which I've read 2, Beckford's Vathek and Shelley's Frankenstein, but I had not read the first book in the collection, Horace Walpole's The Castle of Otranto. I have now done so. This book was from 1765, and I was reading it for 2 reasons. One, it's fairly brief, which I need at this stage of the Read What You Own challenge, and 2, I am going to be reading some more Gothic this year, so this seemed a good place to start. I wasn't expecting it to be an accessible read from 1765, but it pretty much was, apart from perhaps the setting, the typesetting, which doesn't include normal punctuation marks or indeed the art of paragraphs seems almost unknown. I don't know whether this is a Walpole thing or whether this is just the necessity of trying to fit 3 books into 1 volume. This book does contain your essential Gothic ingredients. There is a castle, it is haunted, there is a villain, there is a hero, and there are heroines, any one of whom may faint at a moment's notice. Manfred, the villain, really is off of his rocker. I found it difficult to follow his thought processes more than anything else in the book. He really can't remain fixated on one thing for very long. He is at the whim of his tempers. He could be wanting to behead someone one moment, reward them the next, and for that other person you want to hope that he gets those in the right order. The main theme here is an odd one. The moral of the story seems to be that any evil misdeed can be punished even unto the third or fourth generation. I think he explicitly states that in the book, and this happens. So as to how much Manfred is the author of his doom or whether he is the victim, possibly is a little bit up for debate, but he is certainly not one to fight his inner demons. This was really overblown, very overwrought, and mostly enjoyable. I would recommend it, but you'd have to be in, I think, the right frame of mind. The next book was the winner, if you could call it that, from my Quick to Judge challenge. So I had decided the first paragraph of this book was the most intriguing of the 5 first paragraphs I read out in a video of a couple of weeks back. So I read The Million Cities by J.T. McIntosh. This was not the book I was expecting. They detailed it's a very overpopulated future Earth where the population has burrowed down deep into the Earth and stayed on the surface as well. This is just a way of dealing with the rampant overpopulation and the fact that no one has left the planet. They've tried, they can't manage spaceflight. So this is a very, very overcrowded planet. Everything is buildings apart from the ocean. So this is before Coruscant, but probably after Trantor. And it deals with a world government that is becoming ever more repressive and violent in its treatment of the population, under the guise of wanting to combat a rebel movement known as the Chartists, who seem to be a very shadowy organisation with members everywhere. As a future presented to us, written in the 1950s or the late 50s, this is rather par for the course. There is a little bit of McCarthyite panic. There is a little bit of sinister Orwellian overtones of the government. And I thought it was going to continue in that vein. And then there is a twist, and I really did not see the twist coming. It happens very late, but does subvert everything that's gone before. And that did improve the reading experience for me. So, which is good, because I've got some other J.T. McIntosh on my shelves, and I would like to read those too. So, yes, a cautious recommendation for The Million Cities. I don't know whether I've spoilt stuff now saying there is a twist, but I suppose you've got to expect that in literature. I'm just not telling you what it is. And the last thing that I finished this week was The Last Test. This is a novella from, originally based on a story from 1893, updated and edited for inclusion in the 1928 November issue of Weird Tales. It's only 60 odd pages long, which suits me, but the writing is quite dense. This is originally by Adolf Danziger, or Adolf de Castro as he's known here, but edited and updated by H.P. Lovecraft. And you can sort of see the joins here. I've read other stories and works edited by Lovecraft, which are basically Lovecraft works. I'm thinking of something like The Curse of Yig. Here, there is you can see there is more than one voice, and you can definitely see when Lovecraft makes himself known. This is ticking a few boxes for me. There are some mysterious Tibetans previewing my journeys to Tibet in Spring into Adventure, the announcement videos for which I think are now all out. There is mention of Atlantis, so this counts tangentially towards my project Rabbit Hole, talking about Hollow Earth, Lost Civilizations, etc. The original 1893 version of this work, which was called A Sacrifice to Science, I have not read. This version contains references to the Cthulhu mythos, which I'll wager the original never did. This is the first mention in Cthulhu mythos, or the first invocation of Shub-Niggurath, who doesn't appear, but is just mentioned almost as a curse. Other things I have read this week include things that don't count towards the Read What You Own challenge, like the issue of Spicy Detective Stories, which I will be doing a deep dive video for straight after recording this, coming up on Thursday. I have also continued, but not yet finished, S. Fowler Wright's Deluge. I'm reading this one on my phone, so I read it when I get a few minutes spare, or waiting for a train, etc. Possibly not the best way to experience a book, but a good way to shoehorn another title in. I may sit down and put some proper time into this when I'm getting closer to the finish for this to get it counting as one of these titles. So I am on 83 books out of the 100. Another 17 titles to read before I can lay this challenge to rest. I'm going to quickly whiz through the next video I'm going to record. I'm going to try to edit them in extra quick time so that I can hopefully fit a whole other book in read today. Until next time.